Hi guys, welcome back to Hair Dry Treatment with me, Soph. The Soph and Meg show is back. A different day this week, but we're still back with a bang. We've got a few different topics to talk about, and they're not all football related as well. Obviously, there's a lot of stuff going on in the world in a minute, and we want to touch on that. So, Meg, firstly, how are you doing, mate?
Oh, good, thank you. We were just chatting about having like a few days where we've kind of like dipped off, like just feeling in general. But I'm feeling okay. I've actually got up and put like face of makeup on. I've washed my hair. I've actually made an effort for you, so
That's why I've got a
I've
hat
washed
on.
my hair and I put some makeup on. So, but no, it's difficult, isn't it? I think everyone's going to go through those days. But hopefully, I've kind of had my little dip and I'm back on. So,
Yeah, I mean,
right.
I've called the video "Social Distancing is a Myth," and I'll get onto why I've called it that in a minute. Because obviously, we keep being drilled that we need to stay inside to save lives and all that. We've just found out that lockdown is extended for 3 weeks. Firstly, Meg, how do you feel about it being extended? I, like you, have dipped a few times. I haven't felt well the last 2 to 3 days as well. And I feel like morale is starting to dip a little bit because there's only so many times you can play Monopoly, for example. There's only so many times you can watch Netflix. I feel like I've watched it all to death, to be honest. But we're healthy. I mean, like I said, I felt a bit unwell, but I'm okay. And I think a lot of people, there's a lot of selfish people out there. I'm referring to, obviously, Westminster Bridge. That I get why people are clapping, of course, I'm all for that, and showing gratitude to the NHS. But when you see clips of literally thousands of people, police included, nurses included, all stood on that bridge clapping side by side, social distancing is not in sight. Meg, how did that make you feel when you saw that? Personally, for me, it was frustrating, thinking, why are we all cooped inside if they're literally out there doing that? Because that's not helping anybody, is it?
No, and I think, like, I mean, I haven't been out. I haven't even been to a shop. That's how, like, enclosed inside in that house I've been. Like, the kids and me have stayed in. And then when you see people, I mean, I have been out for a run and stuff like that, but I've not been in a public place with other people.
Yeah.
And I think when you see that is not an essential thing to be doing.
Yeah.
Everyone else is doing it on their driveway, at the end of the road, whatever, they've stood out in the street. Nobody needs to go to a mass gathering of people to clap for others who then will probably be treating those people. If one person on that bridge had coronavirus, say, that how quickly and easily would that have spread? Like,
yeah. Look,
it just seems like a really silly thing to have done, and that, like, common sense has not prevailed in that situation at all.
yeah, I think obviously I know what the meaning was. They were showing gratitude to the NHS, and I get that, and I'm all for showing gratitude. Of course, I am, because they're doing an amazing job. But we're meant to be keeping the amount of people who are catching coronavirus at one time down to help the NHS, and yet you've got people out there all at once on that bridge, like you say. It's bound. Some people are bound to have it. I'm sorry, but look at the figures at the moment in the UK. Some people are bound to have it. And social distancing was not seen, and the fact that the police just stood there as well. And again, I know that they're obviously joining in with applause and stuff. Where does it's got to come from the government, hasn't it? It's got to come from someone to say, look, this is not acceptable, because there's a lot of people who are inside. I mean, luckily I am not in that mindset where I think, you know what, they're doing that study, I'm going to go out anyway. What's the point in staying in if they're doing that? But there are some people who have got that mindset where they're thinking, what's the point in staying inside if they're out there doing that? And it's an awkward one, because of course it's tough, but ultimately staying inside does save lives. I was on a stream, obviously a charity stream, and we all clapped alive, but I could see people in the street were all out on their doorsteps clapping. That's the way it should be. But mass gatherings to do an applause for the NHS, I thought was really ironic. Hello to everyone in the chat. Mr. E's there, hope you're good. Hello to Diz, hello to Rahul, hello to Naeem, hello to Big Mo. Alright, PRTK says, how do you feel about the nurses dancing on TikTok? So you see the videos of all the nurses dancing. Meg, I'll let you touch on that one first. How do you feel about it? Personally, to me, it doesn't bother me too much, because they're still in work. It's probably a lunch break, or where they've got a bit of time off, and they're spreading positive vibes. But a lot of people have taken it the other way as well.
I'm one of these people that does not care if they're dancing on TikTok. Like, I have no feelings towards that. Like, they are in such a pressurized environment at the moment, and they're probably having a release of just, like, happiness. There's probably zero happiness when they go to work. Like, I mean, I've got friends who are nurses, and they have said, like, when we've clapped, and they've said, like, that's the first time they've gone to work and they've cried happy tears. Every other day they've gone to work and they've cried, like, because they've been sad. Yeah. Like, having a dance on TikTok, and what, for five minutes, say, actually having a bit of enjoyment
I mean,
and a bit of a release.
When I see it, cheers me up. When I see them, it cheers me up. So, yeah, I agree. I'm like you, Meg. I think I'm not too offended by it. Look, if it was obviously to a point where there's people literally dying and they're dancing the side of the bed, then that's different, isn't it? But it's not. I'm guessing it's like lunch breaks or spare time, spare few minutes. They're doing an amazing job, the NHS, and we've got to help them through that. And like I say, that scene on Westminster Bridge didn't strike me that we are helping them do that. And obviously it's been extended for 3 weeks. Some people are thinking it's going to be extended even more than that. Meg, do you think that this lockdown now being extended, is that then making it more unlikely that the league is going to restart, do you think?
Well, it throws it even more now, doesn't it? Because, I mean, you're 3 weeks. I agree with the lockdown, and I'll say that to start with, because you haven't got, like, we're not what they call flattening the curve. The amount of deaths and the amount of new cases are still, they're not rising as such sometimes, but then they're not lowering anytime soon. So to keep the population from going to these gatherings, I get it. I get why we've had this lockdown again. In terms of the football, not just the Premier League, but let's just focus on the Premier League for now. You're then 3 weeks now closer to the start of the next season.
Yeah.
Whenever that may be, but like you've got that you've lost that bit of time.
Yeah.
Now you're getting 3 weeks closer to people's contracts running out. Then what happens? I've seen a lot of talk that clubs wanted the Premier League to be finished by June the 30th. Well, that's not going to happen. That's not going to happen. And if this whole thing about fixture congestion, managers bang on about fixture congestion and they moan about it all the time. There's going to be a pile of fixtures coming up that I bet nobody moans about. I bet no manager moans about it, but we'll see. I don't want to hear any manager moan about fixture congestion ever again. But they want the Premier League season finished before the contracts run out. They want to start the Premier League season by the end of September, I've heard, latest. It's going to be very tight, and it gets me to the point where I think, will they null and void it if it continues like this?
Yeah,
if we keep losing weeks.
The EFL apparently were in a meeting for over 2 hours, I think it was yesterday, and they're still none the wiser as to what's going to happen because the clubs are so split on what they think should happen. And it's just such a messy situation. You've already touched on it. There's people, obviously personally, players' contracts could be running down. It affects personal, like individuals as well. But also you look at teams who are fighting relegation, where teams who are looking to get promoted from, like Leeds, for example, and West Bromwich Albion. That still needs to happen, in my opinion. But how do you make that happen? You can't just give Liverpool the league. Yes, we all know they deserve it, but on a technicality. And I spoke to a Liverpool fan, Craig from Anfield Agenda, the other day, and he said he does not want Liverpool to win a league with a star or an asterisk to the side of the title. He wants them to win the league properly. So even as a Liverpool fan, I think they're kind of open to the idea now of it being voided, because ultimately health obviously comes first. Of course it does. But it's seeming more and more unlikely that the season's going to get up and running. But legally and on a technicality, it has to be played out somehow, and whether that's behind closed doors, I'm not sure how it's going to happen. I definitely don't think it's going to be by like June 30th, like you've just mentioned. I think it's going to go a lot later than that. Having no football in the summer obviously does help there a little bit more, but currently in the UK, I think there was another 847 deaths yesterday. We're literally spiralling, and we're getting more and more likely to be one of the worst in the world death rate. So how on earth can we even start considering football coming back when you're getting figures like that? Football at the minute surely is the least of everyone's priorities, isn't it? And I know we're all missing it, of course we are, but when you've got death rates like that, it just puts it into proportion that, you know what, voiding the season, it's looking more and more likely, in my opinion. And I didn't think it would happen because of how messy it gets, but it seems it might be the fairest way to do it.
Completely agree with you. Obviously, I know we're talking about football now, but we're talking about it because that's what we talk about. But in terms of the general scale of things, you know, obviously health comes first. Now, we're saying that, but what does happen to the football? What do we say afterwards? We say, right, well, we're now X amount of weeks behind the season having finished, should have been finished, and we still have got, someone's just put, you can't fit 3 months worth of games into a 5-week period, Mr. Arsenal put it in.
Yeah.
You know, you can't do that, and we're already behind. We're always going to be playing catch up, and then that affects the next season, which then that affects the season afterwards. It's hard because these are also people's livelihoods. You're talking about Leeds and West Brom from the Championship. Now, that is a huge move to be promoted from the Championship. to the Premier League, the playoff final, we know that's the most expensive game. You know, for a club, for those 4 clubs in the playoffs, to not then have that opportunity to be in that game and then to win that game. But then you look at the likes of the Premier League, the effects of it if you don't finish a season. Reading about Manchester United, if we don't get into the Champions League, our sponsorship deal with Adidas is affected. So there's so many things other than just football, financially as well, and about money. But it all comes back to the fact that the health of everybody is the biggest priority, and you can't expect to be anywhere near coming to a close of this season until coronavirus has been and gone.
Yeah, I agree, and obviously delaying next season is an option, but then like you've mentioned, what about the season after that and the season after that? It's kind of like a domino effect, isn't it? That's why I think voiding it is probably, it will turn out to be the thing that they do, because it's a thing that, I know it affects Liverpool and teams coming up like we've already mentioned, but in terms of the season logistics, it doesn't affect too much, does it, if we just scrap this one and start afresh. Thank you so much to Alex for the super chat. He says, "Hi ladies, thoughts on the health," I was going to talk about this actually, the Health Secretary Matt Hancock, who called footballers to do more in terms of pay cuts, but then he refused to take one himself, because he actually said, his words were, he's working above and beyond the hours that he should be, and so he doesn't feel like he should be taking a pay cut. And that was with Piers Morgan, that interview. Thank you, Alex, you read my mind there, but I appreciate that. Meg, firstly, what's your opinion on, we touched on it a little bit, about footballers being forced to donate and being put under pressure because they earn big wages, but they're not the only people in the UK, as we know, who earn big wages, and they do pay mega tax on that as well. But a lot of footballers have came out with this Players Together campaign, as we both said that we thought they would. We thought that footballers wanted to donate, they just didn't know how to go about it. And they've proved a lot of people wrong, and fair play to all the players. I mean, Jordan Henderson from Liverpool apparently was one of the main guys behind that, the main voices, and I take my hat off to him. Not literally, but yeah, fair play to him, because for players to come together, I think it was a really powerful campaign, and like I said, they've shut a lot of people up. But then for the MPs, for example, who are on a lot of money, or the Health Secretary, to turn around and not be willing to take a pay cut, how does that then make you feel?
I was going to say, first, thanks to Alex for the super chat. I mean, I believe that football is made to be a scapegoat, because, like you mentioned there, they aren't the only people in this country that earn mega amounts of money. There are business owners up and down across the UK, across the world, that could be helping out before coronavirus. This is, they earn so much money that they could donate money, whenever they wanted to, without it really touching their bank account. But we've come to this coronavirus, and all of a sudden footballers just seem to be getting attacked for earning so much money, and I think it was absolutely out of order to focus all the attention just on footballers when there are other people that earn mega amounts of money that could be helping out.
Yeah.
And then for him not to come and take a pay cut, I get that their MPs, Matt Hancock, Boris Johnson, I mean, all those who you see on the screens at the moment, who are probably working for God knows how many hours a day trying to resolve issues that, way above and beyond what I can speak about. They probably are working so hard, but that is their job. That is, you're in that position where if something like this happens, you have to step up. When we, if we go to war, say, are you going to start giving army people extra money, or telling them, everything's come crashing down, can you take a pay cut, when they're going to go out and do more work? And you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Probably not the greatest.
But the thing is, taking a pay cut, I think people don't realise that if you take a pay cut, then that means obviously the extra tax that you've been paying on that huge amount of money isn't being paid then, and that tax ultimately goes to the NHS, and it goes to obviously a lot of other things as well. But that, if you're taking a pay cut as well, doesn't it not affect that tax ratio? You're not then paying as much tax into the system. I'm not sure how it fully works. I'm not an accountant, of course, but for me, if I was an MP anyway, I know for a fact where I'd be like, I would definitely take a pay cut, because I would want to support, like you say, it is a war. It is a war what we're in right now. Obviously, it's a war with coronavirus, and the NHS are our soldiers on the front line, and they deserve all the support. I mean, obviously, there's a hero amongst our ranks who, is it 12 million now that's being raised? 12? I'm going to double check, see what the stats are
so
today.
So he's on like 21 million?
Has he got to 21 million now? Oh my life. Last time I saw it was last night. I think it was like 12, 13 million I saw.
He's on 21 million.
Wow. See, that that is a true hero, isn't it? That is a true hero. What a guy. What an absolute guy. I'm going to try and load up an article on him now. But yeah, I would want to raise as much money as I can. And just on that point, I'm going to say we did do a stream, obviously, the other day with Claude and Robbie from AFTV. I will put the link in the description for the video. We're just giving page. If you want to donate, all money goes to the NHS. And obviously, we're trying to give our little bit back as YouTubers. And today, the United Stand and AFT, fantastically, are joining 24-hour stream, starting just after us at 12 o'clock. So guys, make sure you head over there and show some support as well. I know, because all money is going to the NHS, which is absolutely fantastic. Alex is saying it's more than 21 million now. More than 21 million. That's amazing, isn't it? Amazing.
But right. Isn't it sad though, Soph, that we're in a position where a 99-year-old man is raising £21 million and not, and he has to be in that. We're not relying on him, but we're giving to somebody who's walking around their garden, yep, because NHS and the frontline staff, key workers, they need that. We're expecting a 99-year-old man who has stepped up and raised £21 million. I mean, hats off to him, and I applaud him completely. But I also feel like he shouldn't have had to have done it. Yeah. He probably didn't. It's out of his choice, and I think it's incredible. But I just can't believe that we've raised £21 million because of it. It
just shows like that mentality though. Like he's not letting it beat him. He's not letting age obviously get in the way. Here he is. This is on Piers Morgan's Twitter. So this is Captain Tom Moore. £21 million. Obviously looks backward to you guys, but £21 million. That is remarkable. And as Alex said, it's probably going even more than that now. But I didn't even realise he got that much overnight. That's just incredible. And obviously fair play to Captain Tom Moore. And he needs to be knighted after this. I don't care what anyone says. He deserves to be knighted. And if he doesn't get knighted, there's something massively wrong with the system, because what an achievement that is. What an absolute amazing achievement. And I tweeted yesterday, it restores my faith in humanity, because you see that on Westminster Bridge, you see the people sunbathing on the parks and taking advantage, and then you see that, and it makes you realise that there are still people out there who do care, there are still people out there who have got a bit of common sense, but ultimately people who want to go above and beyond to help other people, and I think that's lovely, I really do. Right, we're going to get back to football. We're talking about politics and coronavirus, we need to get back into football a little bit, so Meg, I'm going to ask you what your dream transfer window would be for United this season. I mean, realistically, obviously, we're not going to sit here and say, oh, we want Messi, Ronaldo. We're not going to do that. But ideally, what would you be happy with? What would your ideal transfer window be this summer? Obviously, there's talks about Grealish, there's talks about Igalo staying, Pogba staying. What would be ideal for you in this window? I mean, obviously, Sancho is a big talking point, and Harry Kane has been spoken about as well. Would you take them both in this transfer window? Do you think it's possible?
From experience, I don't feel like it is possible that we get two big signings in. We take ages to get a signing across the board at times, so I don't feel like we'll see two. We won't see a lot of big signings. I'm going to go really realistic now and say that what I would like to see happen is Pogba sign a new contract and stay. Angel Gomez to sign a new contract and stay, but potentially loan out, depending. But yeah. to get him to sign a contract. I'm undecided on Igalo at the moment, depending on whether, we spoke about Harry Kane, whether we get someone else. I feel like if we don't get someone else, then Igalo should stay, because I feel like he is offering us something different. We need a player like that. So that one for me, I'm really sat on the fence with that at the moment. Sancho in, Sanchez out. It's a busy market so far. Pogba in, Gomez in, Igalo on the bench, Sancho in, Sanchez out. Grealish in.
You'd take Grealish.
Grealish in, and then that's it for midfield for me, really.
Yeah.
And then defensively wise, I don't know.
What's going to happen with Phil Jones, Meg? I'm going to quote there defensively.
Okay, Phil Jones can go. Smalling, I think we'll sell him. I think if we'll get a better price for him. so he'll go. Then that leaves you with Maguire, Lindelof and Bailly. I'd keep them three, if I'm honest.
Yeah.
I think it's that you can see when we were playing at the start of this year, and throughout the majority of the season, we're actually not too bad in defence.
Maguire and Wan-Bissaka have improved us tremendously, haven't they? They really have.
So
I think if we're signing a centre-back, you might be looking at someone either towards the end of the career, who are getting on a little bit, or we'd look at someone like Upamecano, who are up-and-coming 21-year-old centre-back, maybe, somebody who obviously we can try to grow into being that centre-back. But I don't fully trust Lindelof as being Maguire's partner. I'd probably choose Bailly over Lindelof to be his partner, but he needs to stay injury-free. So you could argue we do need a centre-back to avoid relying on the likes of Phil Jones, but we have got two in Zeeby as well.
Yeah, and that's what I mean. I think I quite like the fact, like Gomez and stuff like that. I like him as a player. I cannot, for the life of me, figure out why we didn't use him very much throughout this season so far. Okay, he needs experience, and same with Chung. Go and get them to loan them out. Go and get them some experience, and then bring them back. It's not, other clubs use the loaning system. I feel way better than we do. But yeah, so the ones that I mentioned, but I would. I am genuinely being realistic and saying that I would keep Pogba. I don't feel like we need to sell him, and therefore we don't need to bring anyone in. Keep Gomez, perhaps loan him, but you've got enough midfielders now for me, I think. Good quality midfielders as well. The only other one that I don't know whether I'd like to see a bit of a Portuguese relationship going on. So bring someone in with Bruno.
Okay.
Remember when Arsenal in the 90s had like the French Revolution going on? They've got all the French players and they had such like a connection.
Yeah.
I don't know who I'd bring in. I'd probably go and raid the Wolves team.
There's a lot of Portuguese there. It's about talking to Wolves team. One of my dream transfers, and this is because it's realistic. I think Raul Jimenez is a possibility coming in from Wolves, and I would take him. To be honest, he's not Portuguese. Obviously, he's Mexican, but I think he's a quality player. He grafts so hard from the front. A lot of the chances he creates himself in that Wolves team because he does work so hard from the front. I think his link up, his quality, he holds the ball up and he can finish. Obviously, I know a lot about Wolves. A lot of my family support Wolves. I was talking to my cousin yesterday about Jimenez and he said that he thinks he would suit United well. But apparently he does miss a lot of chances. But a lot of the chances he makes for himself, and that's what I like about him. I think Jimenez is a real possibility. He's proved that he can score goals in the Premier League. I don't think we'd have to pay above and beyond for him because he's getting on a little bit now. Mexico absolutely love Manchester United, and I'm sure Jimenez, if the right money was thrown at him, I think he would be tempted to come across to United. So I think Jimenez would be more the one I'm looking at. Harry Kane, of course, quality, absolute quality centre forward. One I'm worried about is injuries, though. He seems to be getting more and more injuries every single season now. Every season he's having an injury where he's out for at least a few weeks. And then, obviously, 200 million apparently is what Levi has said that he wants for Kane, and for me, he's not worth 200 million. He's a good striker, but he's not worth that. So realistically, I think we need a goal scorer, so I'll take Jimenez. Aubameyang obviously has been spoken about as well. Ideally, Werner would be my dream signing, but I can't see that happening. I think if he goes anywhere, he goes to Liverpool. Apparently, he said he's staying anyway. A lot of people in the chat saying Jimenez said that he will never move. I'll be interested to see that transfer. I really would. I think he would be tempted, but obviously, who knows? And then Sancho has to be an option for us on the right. We're lacking quality out wide. Dan James obviously isn't the answer there. He's a good squad player, but he's not the answer. So I'd say Jimenez, Sancho. I would like a Thomas Partey kind of holding midfielder to come in. So he's not Portuguese, Meg, but he's another midfielder, holding midfielder who I think would suit that perfectly, bring that balance. And then in terms of centre-backs, I think Koulibaly, he's getting on a little bit, but I think he will massively strengthen us at the back. And if not him, I'd probably say Upamecano. And then my final one would be to bring Dean Henderson back from Sheffield United. Either as competition for De Gea or to replace De Gea as number one. And that's something I'm sending out to the chat now. Do you guys think that Dean Henderson should come back in? And should he be our number one next season? Or should it be him and De Gea fighting it out for the top spot? Would De Gea be happy to do that?
We've got a quality second choice goalkeeper in Romero just sitting on the bench. Is he not even in your contention?
For me, Romero, I don't think De Gea would be happy to sit and be an option. I don't think he'd be happy to be second option. So for me, if Henderson does come back, I don't know if De Gea is going to stay, and if he doesn't stay, then obviously that leaves Romero still being that backup. And Romero is content with being that backup, isn't he? Like you've said, he's probably the best number 2 goalkeeper in the world, and he's happy just to sit there and be a backup goalkeeper. And when he's called upon, he's done fantastically well.
Definitely, that's what I mean. Like, for me, he's in content. You know, if De Gea goes, I would look at Romero as competition for number 1. If you bring Henderson back, I think that he's quality. I mean, we only see him really. We saw him when De Gea got injured, but we only really see him in Europa League games, and there's some tests in there, but it's not Premier League week in week out standard, is it? So, I'd like to see him more often though if De Gea was to leave. But,
I think Dean Henderson is going to be England's number 1, and there's rumours that we're going for quite an English biased transfer window with likes of Sancho. Jude Bellingham is one that I forgot to mention just as well. I would like to take him in, probably going back out on loan, but he's a talent as well, obviously coming from Birmingham. And it looks like we're going to be going for that kind of you said about the French Revolution, maybe we're going for the English Revolution with Sancho, Rashford, obviously Jude Bellingham coming in, Harry Maguire, Dean Henderson. I think it's an interesting one, but yeah, Jude Bellingham I would definitely sign as well, but maybe a case where he gets loaned back out for a few seasons, and obviously we judge his progression from there. But getting the chat, guys, what do you think about the whole De Gea situation? Is he still going to be at United next season, or do you guys think that Dean Henderson is going to come in and replace him? And Meg, I'm going to ask your opinion as well. Player of the Year for United, who would you choose? Because there's a lot of different choices. McTominay has won the Young Player of the Year. A lot of people think that should have been Wan-Bissaka. But is it because Wan-Bissaka's up for the Player of the Year award? What do you reckon? Who would you go for? It's hard because we forgot what happened.
I was going to say, I mean, Wan-Bissaka has been consistently good, hasn't he? He has. When we talk about after games, we always seem to mention Wan-Bissaka. He's always mentioned in analysis in terms of the way he is so good at defending. If you are a defender, you like defending, he is someone to watch because he does not let people past him. He is so spot on with the way that he moves across the pitch and he defends in a back four, but individually as well against a winger. He is so talented. So yeah, I think on a consistency basis, Wan-Bissaka has to be a really good shout, doesn't he?
Yeah.
He has. He did. I think he had a couple of games where I thought, oh, he looks like he's dipping, but I think perhaps he was just he'd been run ragged by that point, and he had a couple of games rest, I think, or he was injured for a couple of games.
Yeah.
And he came back and he was phenomenal again. So for me, on a consistency basis throughout the whole squad, Wan-Bissaka has been up there.
Yeah, I think as well Fred obviously needs a special mention because Fred has been our most improved player, definitely. It just shows that when you give a player a run of games and give him a bit of confidence, he's just excelled and got better and better. And it'd be unfortunate if Fred is the guy to miss out in that midfield. Like you said, Pogba coming back, Bruno being there. Is Fred going to be that third player? Are we going to get that holding midfielder in? Or is it going to be McTominay? Maybe even Matic? It's a harsh one because Fred has been phenomenal. He's been our most improved player, definitely. But if you get someone like Thomas Partey or even Saul Niguez from Atletico, do you think that Fred is still going to be playing in that midfield? And it's an interesting one. But one thing I know for sure is I am so excited to see Pogba and Bruno Fernandes playing in the same team together. I really am. But Pogba's situation, you touched on it just. Do I want Pogba to stay? If I'm honest, either way, I'm not too fussed. And that is because the whole rigmarole that Pogba brings with him in the circus, I can't be bothered with that anymore. It's tiring. It's tiring the amount of crap that comes with Paul Pogba. If Paul Pogba stays, I want to see Paul Pogba playing football the way that we know he can play football and committing his life to Manchester United. That's what I want to see. And his agent, you shouldn't be hearing from his agent because his agent is a nightmare. So if Pogba goes and we cash in and we sign some players like Saul Niguez, for example, or Thomas Partey, I would not be too fussed about it. But, of course, Paul Pogba, he can be a world-class player. But if he stays at United, I want to see more of that world-class talent. And I think it's all down to his mentality and whether he truly wants to be at United or not. There are rumours that he's signing a new deal or he has signed a new deal. Meg, do you fully believe that? Do you think Pogba will sign a new deal at United?
I do. I'm not getting involved in any rumours regarding Pogba until either the picture of him with a new contract from the Manchester United account. Because like you said, there's a whole rigmarole surrounding Pogba. The whole circus comes with it. There's rumours flying left, right and centre with him. And then you just don't know, do you? You can never say definitely that he is, he's signed, or no, he hasn't, until it comes from Manchester United. So I wouldn't believe anything unless it came from the official account, in my personal opinion, on this in regards to this player, because everyone wants to talk about him all the time. He gets all the attention, and rightly so. He's a class player. But Disdain, I am Pogba in.
Yeah. Look, I'm not Pogba out. It's easy to get confused. I'm not Pogba out. I'm just saying that if Paul Pogba stays, I want it to be the Paul Pogba who's got his head in the game. We're getting the best out of him, because we haven't done that, and I'm hoping that Bruno coming in does get the best out of him. My point simply is that we've had to put up with so much rubbish. We haven't had quality performances from Pogba. Probably, I've already said this, probably can count on both of our hands the amount of good performances we've seen from Paul Pogba. One of the best ones being the comeback against Man City, obviously, when he scored. But look, there's potential in Pogba. We all know that on his day he can be world class. The experience he's got, he's won a World Cup as well. We're going to talk a bit about the Souness and Pogba, should we say, confrontation that went on. Meg, so Souness obviously has got it in for Pogba. I don't know why he's got it in for Pogba. And Pogba was asked in his podcast. He said, "How do you feel about this Souness? What he keeps saying about you?" And that he seems to have a bit of an agenda. And Pogba literally said, "I didn't even know who he was. I heard he was a great player. I didn't know who he was." And Souness's response was, "Put your medals on the table. Put your medals on the table. Paul Pogba, World Cup winner." That was Souness's response. So, Meg, what do you think about the whole Souness Pogba thing?
I think Pogba answered the question really well. Like, he's had to go back in a way that's acceptable. Like, he's not slated Souness like,
No?
He was, yeah.
And to be honest, why would Paul Pogba know who Graham Souness was anyway?
He's had a dig at him, but he's done it in a way where it's like partly funny, so he'd probably get away with it. I think he answered the question really well.
Yeah.
As soon as Alex is literally just taking the words out of my mouth, Souness is bitter, and I do feel like that he is just he's bitter about the whole situation. You were talking about, obviously, we had like hardly any, count on your hand the amount of times that Pogba has played well. But even when he doesn't play well, he still affects the game. He's still spoken about, because his bad game is someone else's standard of a good game. And it's probably, Pogba's won the World Cup. I mean, you can't win a bigger competition. So for Souness to come out and say, "Put your medals on the table," he literally just has to show that one and be like, "I'm in a World Cup winning team. Not only am I in the team, I'm probably one of the most influential players in the French team. Please be quiet."
Yeah. Look, Souness, in his day, of course, he did win it. He won a few titles, didn't he, in a few cups. He has won some trophies, of course he has. But that response just made me laugh. I just thought, he's won a World Cup and he's won obviously loads of Serie A competitions. I don't know, it is a bitter response. And yeah, I mean, it's entertaining for us as a neutral, especially being in lockdown at the minute. It's entertaining to see this going back and forth. But yeah, Pogba, like you say, when he's not at his best, he is still effective, because he's that kind of player who can just produce that moment of magic. He is that guy. But I've said this many times, he's a luxury player. At the moment, at that point, we did not have a squad that was capable of having a luxury player. We weren't good enough to have a luxury player. I'm hoping that, obviously, if we get the reinforcements in, Bruno being a starting point. Pogba hasn't played in the side with Bruno. As for Rashford as well, we've got Rashford yet to come back. People forget how important Rashford was for us at the start of the season. I want to see Pogba playing in a team with the likes of Bruno and obviously Rashford coming back in. Rashford was in the form of his life, you could say. I'm just hoping he can bounce back from his injury. And if we do get the likes of Sancho in, surely it's just going to aid Pogba's game and he's just going to get better. I have always commented that he hasn't had the best quality around him. He can't do it all on his own, as much as we'd like him to. And I do still feel that way. But at the end of the day, you still can't deny it. I'm sure Paul Pogba would admit it to, as well. We haven't got the best out of him, and there's more to come from Paul Pogba in the United shirt. And like I say, if he stays, I just hope that we get to see more from him. Pogba could become Player of the Year and win a Premier League title, and Souness would stay. He hasn't done enough. It's true. You can't win Paul Pogba, can he, with Souness at all? The one key signing is Jadon Sancho. Our right side will be amazing with him and Wan-Bissaka there. Again, that English connection, Meg, as well. Sancho, I've always said I'm always wary of the overhyped English players. I'm always scared that English players get overhyped, overpriced, and then they never turn out as good as they can be. Dele Alli is an example of that for me. Expecting him to go on to bigger and better things, and he never really hit those heights. He's a decent player, but I do think he's very overrated. And Sancho, I'll be totally honest, the bits I have seen of him, he looks talented, and I'm excited at the prospect of him coming. But I'm also wary of the fact that obviously he hasn't proved in the Premier League that he can do it. He hasn't proved massively internationally that he can do it. But we need quality on that right-hand side, and if you look out there, Sancho is the most exciting option for us at the moment. So I'm all for that deal and getting it over the line, and I'm excited the idea of Sancho coming in.
Completely agree with you. Sancho, he's done it in Germany, and we know that the Premier League is a completely different ball game. But you see him in the England squad; he's an exciting player. And like George had said in the chat, that connection with the Aaron Saka, Sancho on the right hand side as well. I think it would be to be class. I think. I mean, I've always said buying any player is a gamble because it doesn't necessarily mean that if they've been class at one team that they will be as good as they are coming to United. But I just think for him, he's such a talent. He's young, fresh, he's pacey. He's good with the ball at his feet. He's one of them players that will make you stand up.
Yeah.
We always talk about having players that make you get out of your seat.
And Pogba does that. Bruno does that. Rashford does that. That's what we like to see at United, isn't it? I agree. Thank you so much to Joel for the super chat. He says, do you think United will go and sign Thomas Partey in the summer? Mr. Arsenal podcast isn't happy with that. Thank you so much, Joel, for the super chat. I really appreciate it. I would like us to go and sign Partey. I think he's built for the Premier League. I think he would slot in perfectly in that midfield. For me, other than Sancho, he's the guy I'll be going all out for, not Grealish or anyone like that. Partey would be my ideal signing, apart from obviously getting Sancho in. So I would love us to. Do I think realistically we'll get him? Apparently we are looking for a holding midfielder, and if you look at the options in world football, he's one of the top ones there. So I'd like to think we are going to go and get him, but obviously we all know that we can't predict what Manchester United are going to do in the transfer window. There's players that ideally many of us would love to have in, but obviously it doesn't always turn out that way. But Partey, would I like him at United? I would love him at United, and I think he's built perfectly for the league. And like I say, I think he would be perfect balance in that midfield three with Pogba, Bruno, and then Partey in there. Meg, have you seen much of Thomas Partey of Atletico?
I've not seen overly too much of him, but like you said, he is built for the Premier League. I think for Manchester United, will we go out all out for another midfielder in the next transfer window? I'm not too sure. I think perhaps we'll look towards more attacking options rather than defensive. I feel like we focused a bit more on defensive at the start of last season in the summer transfer window. We brought in a midfielder, an attacking midfielder in January, but I think we'll then aim and look at more towards the top front three. So I don't know whether we'll go all out for him. Yeah. I think Arsenal want him, don't they, as well? So I think there are other clubs that are after him as well. Does that mean have we got that temptation? What happens? This is the thing. Is what happens?
Champions League football is massive. Champions League football is massive, and you can't write off the importance of getting that Champions League football for players like Thomas Partey. Saul Niguez is another player as well who I think is a quality player, and I think he would also complement that midfield. Partey is the one that I'll probably choose more so than him, but Saul Niguez is a quality player and he's got a lot of goals in his game as well. But it's an interesting one. A good question here from Mark. He says, if Pogba was sold, so then you had the 200 million cash kitty for the transfer window, who would you sign with that 200 million? And 200 million actually isn't a lot, is it? And that's crazy. But 200
we were just
million.
Saying about Harry Kane.
Yeah, 200 million is not a lot. So if it was me, I'd probably say Sancho, and then probably Thomas Partey. That would probably be the two. Either Thomas Partey or maybe like someone like Koulibaly up in Meccano, and probably have a little bit spare there where you can look at the likes of Jude Bellingham as well. Probably those three players, but ideally 200 million, I'd probably say Sancho, and then maybe Thomas Partey, and if there's a bit left over, Jude Bellingham. What about you, Meg?
If you sell Pogba for that amount, you are pretty much guaranteed to get Sancho, but then will they up their price if you just sold Pogba for 200 and they know you've got a bit more money to go spare? So how much are you gonna, how much is Sancho really going to cost us? We don't know. We've got no figure for that at the moment. So Sancho would be, you'd cover your fees for him, but what will you have left? And like I just said, there are clubs in for Partey, so he's in demand. That means his price goes up. If you've got a battle, you've got to try and negotiate these the fees for people. So if you get Sancho, you probably only get Partey. The two of them combined for 200 million. But like you just said, you might have a bit spare if you go for someone that isn't as expensive.
Yeah,
Not sure who else.
Yeah, no, I agree. Joel, thank you again so much. I appreciate that. He said, Igalo is a good player, but why should United keep him if they can't go and get better? I think if Igalo is willing to stay and be a squad player, if he loves the club, obviously, which is what a lot of us believe, he loves Manchester United, it's his dream club, I think he will stay. But I do think he'll be that rotation player. He's not the answer. I think he's a good player, but I don't think he's the answer. And I've already said I think we need a goal scorer. Jimenez, I think, is a realistic option for us. I genuinely do think Jimenez we could get over the line. Werner would be my number one option, but I've already said I don't think that is going to happen. So yeah, I think Igalo, I would keep him, but he would be that squad player. He's been offered a lot of money, obviously, to go back to China. And I guess we're going to find out if it's love or money with Igalo, aren't we, Meg? Whether he wants the money or whether he loves United more, it's an interesting one.
Yeah, I think, we've just previously mentioned, 200 million was the number floating around for Harry Kane. So, can we go and get better? Are we in the market for someone of that quality? If we're going to go out for somebody, I want someone of top quality. But Igalo, I mean, he hasn't actually done that bad. If you look at his figures, when he's been playing for United, he's not actually done that bad. He offers us something different. Why should United keep him if they can go and get better? I just don't know whether we can go and get better in this transfer market. If we're going to go for Sancho, we're not then going to go and spend massive amount for another centre forward when you've just spent one for a wide player. I don't see us going for two all-out massive worldwide known players.
Yeah, I think that with Igalo, like you say, he brings something different. He's a link-up player's quality. He's obviously a strong centre forward. It's very different to the likes of Martial, obviously, who've been playing in that middle. But with Igalo as well, I think he's took a massive pay cut to come to us, which shows obviously that he does love Manchester United. But is at a point in his career now, is he happy to settle for being that sporadic player? He's on a lot of money to be that sporadic player, let's just bear that in mind as well. Or does he want to be playing football? And I think that's a big decision that he has to make as well. But look, when you look in world football, how many old-fashioned number 9s are there out there? There's not a lot in world football anymore. We were linked with Haaland, obviously we missed out on that deal, which is unfortunate. And then, like I've already mentioned, Timo Werner, Lewandowski, probably the best in world football. And then you are starting to run out. Aubameyang, again, I can't see Arsenal making the same mistake and selling him to us like they did with Van Persie. I just can't see that happening. As much as I would take Aubameyang at United, though. Would you take him from Arsenal?
He's one of them players that I can't stand.
Really?
I cannot stand him.
Why?
And I don't know. You know when you just don't really like a player. I just don't really like Aubameyang.
See, he's their main guy, isn't he? And there's rumours that Arsenal, following this coronavirus, this pandemic, might have to sell him to obviously boost them financially. I can't see, I mean, I know why we'd be interested. We need a goal scorer, and he's been scoring goals in that poor Arsenal side. Can I just add? He obviously has got goals in his game. He can also play out left if you need him to as well, which I think is useful. So I would take him, but I just can't see. I really can't see Arsenal making the same mistake again, a bit like they did with Van Persie and selling their best player to us. I can't see that happening. But I would definitely take him. I can see what you mean about can't stand him. I think he's one of them players you don't like him because he plays for another team, but if he played for your team, you'd love him. A bit like Diego Costa kind of player, where you cannot stand him, but you'd love to have him in your team because he just seems to rattle other teams up. But I would take him. I just don't think it's going to happen. I think Jimenez is, like I said, the most realistic option. And my dad hates the fact that I say that because he loves Jimenez and he wants to keep him. But I'm thinking realistically, there's not many centre forwards out there, and there's not many centre forwards who realistically we could get out there. I don't think as well. I think in world football, there's not a lot of quality out there. I think we've been linked to Dembele in the French league. I don't think he's good enough, to be honest with you. So it's hard, but I think if you get a player who's already proven in the Premier League, you're already onto a bit of a winner.
Yeah, I mean, he's good. Aubameyang is good, and I will put that on record. He's good. I just don't like him. I just don't think.
Would you like him?
I can't picture him in a United shirt. Like you're saying, he's like Diego Costa or like Ramos. I love Ramos. I love Costa. I love them players. I just have this thing about
Fair enough.
About
I
Manchester
think you all have them
United.
players. I think my player like that would be Jordan Henderson. I know I bigged him up earlier for obviously his part in the Players Together campaign, but Henderson strikes me as that guy who's constantly looking at the bench like, oh, look at me doing the right thing, like, you know what I mean? And that's how he always strikes me. And I don't know what it is, he grates on me so bad, but I do appreciate that he is important in that Liverpool side. He does make them tick in the middle. And I do think he is very underrated. But in terms of Ramos, I love Sergio Ramos. I know he gets sent off a lot and stuff like that. And when he was linked to us, I was absolutely buzzing. I really was. And a lot of people were like, oh, God, please no. And he obviously used us to get a bit of a booster deal. But Ramos, you can't deny he's been a quality centre-back. He really has. And I do like Ramos. I'd agree with you on that one. But someone's just asked you, would you take Memphis Depay back? Would you take him back, Meg?
At the right price, perhaps. I think he's gone off and he's proved himself a bit more now, hasn't he? He's gone off and he's actually showed what he could do. But I think when we bought him, that's what we were expecting. We were expecting the Memphis Depay that he is now, not the Memphis Depay that we actually had. It just didn't seem to click with Manchester United at that time. It's the whole. Hindsight's a wonderful thing, isn't it? Oh, we could have had him at Arsenal. He could be like this. If he'd have stayed at Manchester United, he might never have been the player that he is now. We might be seeing him because he is where he's comfortable, where he wants to be. So yeah, I would take him back if I could literally pick him up with his talent and the form that he's on and put him in our team.
Well, obviously he's been injured as well, so you have to look at, is he going to bounce back from that injury and be the same player that he was? I always say this, especially young players getting injuries like Rashford, it worries me. Because I always get concerned, are they going to come back and be the same player that they were before the injury? Look, when Luke Shaw obviously had that terrible injury, and you can't deny that has affected Luke Shaw, and it's a shame. But Memphis, I don't know, I'd go for Sancho more so than Memphis, to be honest with you, for a right-sided player. Memphis, I know, can play centrally as well, but I don't think I would take him back now. I really don't. I used to say I would. Right now, with the likes of Sancho and Partey and being linked to us, I don't think I would take him back. I don't think I would. Of course, if he did come back to United, I'd support him. Of course, I would. But yeah, he wouldn't be one of my first choices right now to come back to United, to be honest with you. But guys, this has been a really interesting debate, to be honest with you. We started off the show with just a few little topics to talk about, and we've kind of gone off and spoke about a lot of different players, which is really fun and interesting. Thank you so much for everyone who's done the super chats as well. I really appreciate it. And I'm just going to mention now that United Stand and AFTV are starting. I think it's starting on AFTV at 12 o'clock. They're starting a 24-hour NHS charity stream, so please make sure you check that out and donate as well. Great cause, and obviously go and contribute to that. And let's give something back to the NHS as well. Meg, thank you so much as always for coming on. I appreciate it.
No, thank you for having me again. Thanks to everyone in the chat, because there's literally comments flying left, right and centre about who you'd have, who you'd take, who you'd sell, players, who you're mentioning. So thank you for everyone that's been on there. Yeah, it's been it's flown by, hasn't it? 15 minutes gone.
It has.
But yeah, so as mentioned, the United Stand 24-hour stream with AFTV. There's loads of stuff going on over the next 24 hours with them, so things to get involved with as well. So head over there, and we'll be back next week.
Yeah, guys, we'll be back next week, and as I've already mentioned, I'll obviously always, I don't purposely miss out in the chat any comments, so if you want to drop it on the video afterwards, me and Meg do always check the comments and we'll respond there as well. Thank you so much for your support, we appreciate it. If we could all just drop a like on the video in the chat, we'd appreciate that as well. And of course, subscribe if you're new to us. Yeah, thank you, and I'll be back on Monday. I think it'll be a FIFA stream of mine, if not it'll be with Saeed. Saeed will be on at some point next week anyway, don't worry, but I think he's back at work on Monday, so it might be a FIFA stream for me. But 11 o'clock on Monday, I'll be back on my channel. As always, guys, look after yourselves, take care, stay inside, save lives, and enjoy. Have a great weekend. Thank you, guys.